Tintin Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything other for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out bright future, we can't vanish. It's E25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more rivers, reactions, fans on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Hello everyone and welcome to another eagle-eyed stream. It's not just going to be me today. Nate should be joining us imminently. So don't worry, you haven't got to hear me talk and ramble for about 30-40 minutes. So we first things first, welcome again. I'm just quickly uploading a new background because the background's very blurry, so we're gonna high def that up. There we go. Look at that. Pino's face in HD. Can't even take my face off. Can I do that? No, I can't do that. There you go. What a beautiful man. That's all I can say. Firstly, let's quickly go into the chat. Sosa was really promising. Big up the dog. Malcolm Abue, lover. Sosa was really promising. Finally showing signs of why he used to be one of the best wing backs in the Bundesliga. I didn't really follow him too much when he was in the Bundesliga. I guess he was very attacking. I'm trying to think. He played for, was it Stuttgart he played for? And obviously he went to Ajax. And now he's here. A couple of £1 million. Personally, when I had a look at him before he joined, I'll be honest, I didn't really think he was going to rival Mitchell too much. Especially now Mitchell's like really improved now. So it's so I do think that the golf, there's probably still a bit of a gulf there really. But that said, definitely important because he gives Mitchell competition. And also he just allows Mitchell a rest. So like Mitchell's training isn't just recovery all the time. So I think that in and of itself is a very important thing to have. Big up chairman. Big up Pat. Sad times for the draw. Yeah, we will get on to that one later. And thank you, Pat, for clarifying that he played for Stuttgart. Chairman saying he touched the FA Cup yesterday and beat Liverpool 3-0. What a great day. So, because there was some talk in the chat, can you get that? Can you get pictures sent to you for free? Like you don't have to pay for all of that, do you? Is that just like a framing service? Because I got a bit confused with that. But anyways, let's have a look at the starting 11s for both teams. Now, obviously, there was a bit of debate about how much we would rotate and also about how much Liverpool would rotate because obviously they played, they lost at the weekend. They've been losing games a lot recently. I believe they've only won one in their last 6, and that was against Frankfurt. And they got a big game against Aston Villa, who are in good form. Despite a terrible start to the season, they are in very good form. But yeah, there was a lot of debate. And to be honest, I think that debate has very much rumbled on as the day's gone. Because obviously if they lose to Villa at the weekend, it's kind of like a bit of like, for nothing really. Let me zoom in for you there. So these were, sorry, let me close this down because it's in the way now. Let me just zoom out a little bit there. Can I go? Right, well, that's the best I can do. So, as you can see, we rotated. I think Walter Benitez was pretty obvious choice. I think he's a decent keeper. Again, personally, another one who I didn't think would necessarily, be a guy who would necessarily take that number 1 role, but certainly has done his bit so far. and again provides competition. We got a lot of games this year. I mean, if we get to the final of the Conference League and we lose to Arsenal, and even if we lose our first FA Cup game, we'll have played 56 competitive games this year. So that's pretty crazy. And I mean, even if we go out at the Conference League at the league stage and we go out all the competitions at the next stage, we're still playing. I think it's 1, 2, 3. You're still playing 48 games, and yeah, so that's pretty crazy. And I imagine Benitez will always be that kind of that extra goalkeeper in case we need him. And obviously, if Hendo does get injured, then it's fine. Then we had Mark Guéhi. I think the only argument you could have made was maybe Lerma playing there if we were really rotating. Lacroix, I don't really think we have another player that can play his position that well. Then you got Camvo. We'll come back to him later, obviously coming in for Chris Richards. Chris Richards did have an injury, a minor injury. He should be back at the weekend, apparently. So seeing Camvo step in was not a surprise. Saying that, I think even if Richards wasn't injured, I still think he would have played anyway. Then you got Munoz on the right. No surprises there. Obviously, Cardines came on later on in the game. Again, I don't know who else would really play there. You could play Klein there, I suppose, if you really wanted to rotate, but I think he's very much past it. Then you got a midfield of Hughes and Kamada. Did Glasner choose Kamada on purpose because maybe he felt there wasn't enough creativity with Hughes and Lerma? Maybe he did learn a lesson there. Then obviously Sosa, left wing back, very much the backup choice at left wing back. I think that was a pretty obvious one. Then attacking midfield, Ismail Assar and Pino. Some maybe say that one of Uche or Esse could have played there instead to begin the game, perhaps. And then Nketiah with his chance up front, unfortunately coming off at halftime with an injury, it turned out. How serious it is, we don't know. But it's a shame for him because I thought he had an okay game. And then you look at Liverpool's lineup. So like I said, there was a lot of debate. So there was a lot of debate about what was going to happen. I think personally I think they should have gone for this game a little bit more because, okay, fine, it's maybe in a couple they're not too bothered about, but you're in a run like that. Surely you want to just get a bit more confidence going. Maybe, I don't know. And to be honest, given how the game went, maybe that wasn't so much of a surprise. So yeah, I mean, you look at that team, a lot of youth players, some youth players, pretty much like a B team with a few first teamers in there. The first teamers there, obviously, you'd say like McAllister, Kirkes. Chiesa is probably debatably in the first 11, not up front though. Then you got Joe Gomez. Again, I suppose he's not really. I mean, he would be like probably on the bench for them, but in a normal sort of Premier League game. Robertson, good player, but obviously getting on a little bit, and Endo. And then you do have some of the youth players like Ngamoha, Morrison, Nioni, Ramsey, and Woodman, who I believe, I haven't double checked, I haven't fact checked this, but apparently he was in our academy. Apparently he's a Palace fan. So thank you, Freddie, is all I'm going to say. But guys, what do you think? Do you think Glasner rotated enough? Do you think we could have done a bit more? Obviously, we didn't know what the lineup was going to be, so obviously you're going to need to gauge it with that as well. But yeah, tell me, what do you think? Now, who came on? Let's have a look. Who came on? So Liverpool only made 3 subs, actually. 4 subs. I thought they made a bit more than that. So you can see the subs there. Jean-Philippe Mateta came on for Nketiah, obviously unfortunate one. Devaney came on, obviously did very well. I thought, for me, I don't think his strongest position is a 10. I think he's better in that 8, in that more slightly advanced midfield role, personally. But still a young guy, so still plenty of potential there. Rio Cardines, very nice to see him come on. So he got about a 20-minute run out. Very happy with that. I think you could tell he was very much a youth player. And I think there were times where maybe his position was just a little bit off. But I mean, you expect that off a youth player, and the more experience he gets, the better he'll become at doing that. Then Jefferson Lerma came on, pretty standard substitution, I think, and then Uche came on for about 10 minutes. I know he came on for Sosa, but Justin Devaney went left wing back instead. I mean, like there wasn't a lot going on at that point in the game, so. But again, more minutes, and he looked up for it. He looked fired up, and that's what you want to see for a 10-minute cameo. And didn't try to elbow anyone, which is also very important for Glasner. Then Liverpool's, I mean, I'll be brutally honest, I don't really know a lot of them. The only notable one there really is Amara Nallo. You know what? I actually feel really bad for him because he got sent off. Apparently, he's played 17 minutes of senior football and he's been sent off twice. Because he got sent off on his Champions League debut, whenever that was, obviously quite recently. Poor guy. I do feel sorry for him. But that's the game. That is the game. Right. Next on the agenda. So, I think Liverpool did have a bright start. I feel like they play, to be honest, I think they play quite well up until 30 minutes. What do you guys think? Why do you guys think this happened? Like, was it us? Was it them? I think maybe having so many young players, maybe initially thought, let's go for it. This is my opportunity. Maybe also as well, we just didn't expect them to rotate so heavily. I mean, it's a very strange game, really, because you had all those young players there, and then obviously Slot didn't even give a pre-match press conference either. I don't know. But they started off well, and to be honest, I think it was the goal that really did it for us. And yeah, I think it was an unfortunate goal from their point of view because I mean it was terrible defending. It was basically just a lob into the box. Munoz, I think Munoz was there. We overloaded the box a little bit. He didn't really know how to deal with that, and I think it was Joe Gomez came off his thigh, and then just landed to Sarr, and then Sarr bangs it in. Job done. And then I think the thing is, I tell you what, since I'm here on my own, let's get the tactics board up. Let's get the tactics board up. So, okay, where am I? Right. Right, so, okay, bear with me just 1 second. Luckily, the colours will be the same because I used this in the preview. Which, if you haven't watched the preview, I would say our Liverpool guest wasn't very confident of this game, and he was proven right. Okay, so let's just whack all these people on. I've already got 10. There we go. Lovely. I'm not going to write the players' names on there. You can use your imagination. / I don't really have the time. So let's pop that there. Put this here. Put that there. Put this there. Put that there. Okay. So it looks something like this, right? And I think the thing is, I thought another reason why we found it difficult, I thought they pressed us quite well. So, like, I think we kind of were starting off like this, weren't we? And we had two players like this with it was more like that, really, wasn't it? I feel like we like to do that. We like to push Sarr up on the striker, and then the left-sided 10 kind of falls back a little bit. Well, Eze did it last season. I feel like Pino does it this season a lot. But yeah, I thought they pressed us very well, and I think I thought they really stopped this central progression for us. And I think it was only until we started, because when we started getting to like here and they were like pressing us, I feel like we were although we were losing it, or it was like going out for like a throw in. It wasn't until we were able just to ping passes directly into these players here. And shout out to Cambo as well. I think that was something that he did very, very well. But then as soon as they conceded that goal, and actually no, and also another thing I think that they found very difficult is that when we had the ball over here and they were attacking, right? Say they were attacking and we were defending like this. I think because of our counter-attacking threat, I really do think that they were holding players back. Like generally over here, you probably saw like maybe 5 players over here. Like I really feel like I saw they played a three at the back, didn't they? I really feel like it was just kind of something like that. I felt like they were very reserved, and I think that's because recently they've lost because of teams playing counter-attacking football and kind of rinsing them. And then I think when sorry, I got distracted. When they're getting rinsed, so I think, and because we're so good on the counter, I really think that they were holding players back. And then obviously when we scored, like I said, it was terrible. I think it was terrible defending. It then shifted the impetus for them to actually attack a bit more. And then once they started doing that, I mean, we there were so many spaces in between. And we were just able to play through them, and then that ultimately led to our second and third goal. Hello, Nate, you there?
Yeah. I'm here. Sorry. I was a little bit preoccupied with something, but I'm here now.
Cool. How you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I mean, I enjoyed watching that game, despite the fact that I could care less about the League Cup like you. I'm very much in your mindset of could care less about the League Cup, but a win is a win.
Yeah.
But Arsenal again. Really? Have we not done this already?
Nice.
Have we not done this already? Arsenal in the quarterfinals of the League Cup. I think we had them last season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. We'll go into more detail. We'll go into more detail about the Arsenal one in a bit. What did you think? What were your initial thoughts on the game? Because I think initially, obviously the game was excellent overall. What did you think about Liverpool's lineup and maybe how they started the game?
I mean, the lineup in itself was crazy because I knew Slot would rotate to some degree because they have arguably bigger games in regards to the Villa game, Real Madrid, Man City. They have far bigger caliber games coming up than this. But to see them play effectively, a glorified under-21s team against us, I was like, oh, okay, I don't know if this is a good thing because arguably they've got far inferior players across the park, but they did have a good, solid amount of experience in that team as well. Freddie Woodman's a solid second-tier goalkeeper at 28 years of age. So he's not a young kid.
Yeah.
You know, Wataru, Endo, McAllister, Robertson, there was enough players in that lineup, Chiesa as well, where you're thinking there's still enough experience where they could get the job done against us. But that was brave from Slot. Foolish for definite, because you don't throw away a competition like that as Liverpool manager. Yeah. That club is built on winning trophies. And yes, the League Cup is never any club's priority to go out and win. Nobody sits there and says, I want to win the League Cup. Before we won the FA Cup, I remember I said countless times on this channel, we need to win the League Cup. Now I'm like, I'll take a League Cup, but I'd rather win the FA Cup again, or even better, win something in Europe. But look, brave, foolish, but Glasner set up the team to win, and win we did. And Liverpool fans, you see how you lot hate playing against Ismail Assar? This is how we felt with Sadio Mane. It hurts, doesn't it? It hurts when a Senegalese winger torments you every time he plays you. Yeah, it's not fun when you're on the receiving end. Pause. I have to be careful how I word that, but you know what I'm saying? Like they watched us get tormented by Mane for years. Now we have someone who can torment them. But look, last night, to be a little bit more concise, professional performance, got the job done. Yeremy Pino scored a great first goal for the club. Sarr continued to just bully Liverpool. and no one put a foot wrong. And there were a lot of players I was like, not sure if that's the right lineup, but look, got the job done. Yes, it was against Liverpool's kids, but you got to beat what's in front of you.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And I thought, yeah, the first goal, I wouldn't say it was bad defending, but I want to focus more on the second and third. Nate, what did you think of Sar's second and Pino's goals?
Well, look, the second goal, I mean, to quickly swing it back to Arne Slot, he kept complaining that their opponents recently keep playing it in the air, this, that, the other. Brother, we played on the deck. And defensively, they were at sea. You could see it. They were just all over the place. And you're saying to yourself, all right, strongly mixed team. You could understand if they're a little bit, not all the odds, but that was too easy. And Star took that goal so well, the second goal. The second goal, he took it so well. So, can't take anything from him from that. And the Pino goal, look, we needed to see him score a goal. It's great that he got 2 assists against Kiev in the Conference League, but he's here to score goals. And he did that last night and took his goal well. But I do want to give Freddie Woodman a bit of a shout out here because I don't think he played badly. I know he's third choice. He's never going to displace Alisson or Mamadashvili, but fair play to him. Big nervy occasion, Anfield debut. I don't think we really tested him all that much, apart from the 3 goals we scored. So, fair play to him. Ex-academy boy as well. So it's good to see him do well. But, yeah, man, look, as I said, professional performance got the job done. And both goals were taken really well, the second and third. Can't take anything from them because at the end of the day, it got us into the next round of the cup.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I just want to add, on the where Nate, your mic's giving a bit of feedback, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay, hang
on. And also, I think especially the second goal, because I think the third goal was good, but I think just classic case of Pino's running, chopped in, scored with a very nice finish in the corner. That's the second goal. I thought was an excellent goal, but it just an excellent team goal. And I think that's the kind of goal that I'm looking at. I'm like, yes, that is what gives me confidence going forwards. And it's even the little things like Nketiah making that run across just to open up space in behind him for Pino to then run into. For Saad to run into off Pino's pass. All the way back to the beginning pass. I think it Daichi Kamada. I think it was Daichi Kamada. Just ping that pass straight into Pino, and then was able to then do a nice 1-2, or to Saar, wherever it was. But anyway, I ended up doing a nice 1-2, and then Saar ended up doing a very, very nice goal. The only downside to the game, I think, was Nketiah's injury. As I said earlier, I've been playing well. We don't know how serious it is. I mean, Nate, what are your thoughts on Nketiah's injury? Obviously, bearing in mind his form recently.
Okay. Any feedback just before I start talking?
No, I think, to be fair, I think it's only really when I play. So I talk. Sorry.
Okay. Just because I don't want there to be any kind of audio issues. Yeah. Okay. So Nketiah's injury, it's unfortunate because I think he led the line well last night. He got involved in a good bit of the link-up play. He was making himself available in the channels. So there were facets to his game yesterday that you're like, okay, that's maybe what convinced us to spend the money we did on him. But look, he was always that player that he'd be a bit injury-prone at Arsenal as well. So I was kind of aware, I'm not confident he's got over these injury issues. And again, it's another hamstring problem. Now, hopefully, it's not severe where we're left with just Uche and Mateta to the end of the season because, granted, hamstrings are very rarely going that far away. But you know what I mean? You don't want to have just Mateta and Uche, and Mateta's playing every single game because Uche, for some reason, can't get a look in. I know he came on yesterday, but for somebody who's meant to be worth around, I think, was it 10, 20 million they're looking off us for him at the end of the season if he makes X amount of games?
Not sure.
But something like that, where if he plays X amount of games, we have the obligation to buy. I'm saying, but we haven't seen enough of him to make me think. Yeah, he may be a player that we can get something from. Where I'm like, I don't know actually. And obviously he'll be away at AFCON with Saar because Saar's going to go with Senegal and he'll go with Nigeria. But look, it's unfortunate for Nketiah getting injured, but these are the kind of games that you just say, look, it's not nice, but this is where a lot of people say the depth issue wasn't addressed. And you said it, JC said it, I said it in the group chat. Nikki went off on a rant about it because Nikki's majorly switched on the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll talk a little bit more about. Oh, sorry.
No, you're okay. But that's a show for that's a stream. Sorry, that's a show for another stream. But you look, Nketiah's game yesterday, he played okay, but I was just worried hearing Mateta's coming on against Liverpool's kids because I'm like, is he really needed though? Like, really, is he really needed? Like, we should really need to call our first choice striker on for Liverpool's under 21s. Liverpool's B team, where they have got a more experience, I'll understand it. But I'm like, the majority of these are barely past the GCSEs. Why are we bringing on our first choice striker at 2-0 up? Like, it's a bit okay. Because it's an injury, it's kind of a forced substitution. But I'm still saying this is where we should have probably played a young striker, even if they're not going to make it to the first team. Just give some youngsters a run out where you're saying they may not make it, but solid. It's an extra number where we have a bit of versatility with the youth. With squad depth. But look, it's unfortunate for Nketiah, but what can you do? When you buy an injury-prone player, they tend to be injury-prone. So can't really be too surprised.
No, absolutely. Right, let's just do some. One sec. Let's do some. Sorry, Nate. I think when I talk, there's feedback.
Oh, hang on. I'll mute myself.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
I'll mute myself. Hang on.
Yeah, I think. So let's just do some player ratings, and then we'll go and do. And then we'll move on from the game. We'll talk about the draw. So let's go through the players. So, Nate, what did you think of Walter Benitez? Sorry, I don't have a tier maker for this, so we'll
No, you're fine. Just answer me. Are you getting any feedback now? Because I think I've lowered my call volume. That probably what was happening. You may be getting a bit of reverb.
Oh, that's probably better. That's better. There you go. You can't hear me now.
Okay.
It was only when I was talking.
Sorry, folks, if there's any kind of weird audio issues. That's my fault. War Benitez, I'll be honest, didn't put a foot wrong. Like, they barely tested him. And it's actually refreshing to see him keep a clean sheet because I thought he was unlucky in the last round against the other lot. So, yeah, didn't put a foot wrong. I'd say a solid 8. I don't want to say 9 out of 10 because he wasn't tested, but yeah, I'd say 8.5. I got 8.5.
And I think he made an important. I think he did when he was called upon. He did the important stuff. Like, I think he made a good save against Chiesa in like the first half. I think it was.
Yeah, 100%.
Fair enough.
He was called upon when we needed him. Like, he was attentive to dangerous situations as opposed to doing a Hennessy and not seeing it until it was too late.
Yeah.
Those were dark times, man. Those were dark times.
I'll take JD Canvo. So I thought he had an excellent game. I think defensively, you could tell maybe he is a little bit inexperienced, and obviously that's only going to improve as he plays more. What's that, Pat? Could you just say what the issues are, and we'll try and figure that out. Cheers, mate. So Canvo, like, I think he. I thought he was excellent. Obviously, made a bit of a mistake against Larnaca, and you know what? A young player, his head could drop. He didn't, and you know what I really liked as well. Sort of more so in the second half, he joined the midfield in attack, and I thought on the ball he was excellent, and his passing range I thought was brilliant. Like he fired a lot of passes into the front line, pretty much straight there, just breaking through the lines, and that's exactly the kind of things that we want. And I thought that was excellent. Apparently it might be your mic, Nate. It sounds a bit sparky. Apparently.
Okay, hang on.
I don't know if you got another one. Whilst you figure that out, I'll skip over Lacroix and I'll talk about Mark Gay. And actually,
Dan, let me change to my laptop. It might be my phone. Hang on, I'll just go get my laptop.
All right, cool. So there's Mark, very happy because he didn't have to go to Liverpool. I think that is why he was very, very happy in this picture. And Liverpool, you ain't getting him. No, he's excellent. I mean, what's an average performance for Mark Gay? Average performance for Mark Gay is absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, I think that's a brilliant performance. But we just come to expect it of him now. So I'm going to give Mark. Oh, sorry, I realised I didn't give Canva a rating. I'm going to give Canva a 7, and I'm going to give Mark an 8. Right, and then whilst Nate is sorting out his bits, I'll skip over Munoz, and I will talk about Will Hughes. So I thought Will Hughes was very, very decent. I think again that first 30 minutes, I think it's difficult because I think Liverpool did press us quite well, and I think our central progression wasn't that great. But I mean, Will Hughes I think he's just quite a reliable guy. And you always expect a decent performance out of him, and he rarely drops stinkers. Let's be honest. He's the kind of guy. He doesn't set the world alight, but then like I said, he rarely drops stinkers. So I will give Hughes a 7 as well, on par with Cambo. And whilst you do that, I'm actually going to move over to paint because I just thought of a good idea, and that is to actually write what we've put on there. So just a reminder, Nate gave Benitez an 8. I gave Canvo a 7. I'm giving Mark an 8. Maybe a 9, actually, to be fair. I mean, if Benitez is an 8, maybe I give him a 9. Yeah, let's give him a 9. So next I've got Borna Sosa. Oh, sorry, I realised I didn't put that on there. My apologies. Borna Sosa, I thought he was decent. I mean, there are times where you can tell like he defensively is maybe lacking a little bit. So you can see why he plays against teams that will play like low blocks, like we've played in the Conference League and stuff like that. Thought he had a good game. Went about it quite quietly, I think. Fair play to him. He tried to hit a free kick from about 40 odd yards out. So got to give him credit there. It's a bit, you know what? Actually, I might upgrade these. If we're going like that, do I do that? Or do I just give Sosa a 6? Because I thought like he was all right without setting it on set. Let's just go 6. Maybe that's a bit harsh. No, right, Nate, you back?
I think so. How's my audio now?
Yes, that's good, mate. I'll just turn you down a little bit, but yeah, that's good.
Okay.
All right, you can carry on from Max. So I've done Benitez, Camvo, Gay, Hughes, and Sosa so far. So if you want to, actually, if I keep saying you're going to do people, that probably sounds a bit odd. But you can,
yeah,
you can have Max.
That sounded a bit mad. I'm not going to lie, but
you can have Max.
We'll keep it moving. Maxence Lacroix. Yeah, I mean, look. Again, because of the caliber of our opposition last night, I don't really want to rate him too highly because he wasn't really challenged. I mean, yes, Chiesa was the main threat, but even like they all dealt with every threat Liverpool had fairly quietly. And to be fair to Liverpool, some of their youngsters played quite well. So, I'd say 7 for Lacroix.
Yeah. Again, he was and also I feel like he fired a lot of passes into the front line as well, like Camvo did, and I thought that worked really well. Right, Munoz. Again,
I mean, what I just said kind of applies to the whole team, really. Like they dealt with the amount of changes they had, but I don't really want to highly rate players too much because then you're thinking we weren't that good. Like, we didn't play Liverpool at full strength, so. But to be fair to Munoz, he is such a consistent player. I don't want to go anything under an 8, so I'll say an 8 for Munoz. And UK Pat, with the audio thing, look, I'm trying my best. Just bear with us. Best I can do.
He gave you a thumbs up. He said it's good.
Right. No, because I was thinking he was saying audio's a problem again. Sorry, Pat. Sorry.
No, he gave you a nice thumbs up. I'll go through the comments after we've done all of this, by the way.
My apologies.
All right. Nate, Daichi.
I think that was one of his best games that he's had since he's been at the club. And yes, again, we were playing a lot of Liverpool's reserves and 21s and what have you, but he has definitely grown into being a part of the team, whereas last season, everybody was quick to write him off as he's rubbish, he's crap. But again, 7. As I said, I don't want to rate players too highly because I think that's dangerous to do that. So I'd say a solid 7 for Kamara.
Fair enough. So, I mean, he got 2 goals. It's got to be a 9, doesn't it? I think first 30 minutes, maybe under the cosh a little bit.
Dan, I'm not going to lie. Because he got 2 goals and the Liverpool crash out from Ismail Assar, that kind of pushes it up to 9.5. Because the Liverpool fans crashing out over him was hilarious.
Do we do halves?
Well, Pat says 10, but you know what? Stick with 9. Stick with 9. Me personally, I'd say 9.5, but we'll stick with 9.
Let's go 9. Because, we'll talk about who our men of the match are. And I feel like mine might be different to other people's. Nate, Pino.
8. Great goal. Got involved. And we need to see more of that in the Premier League. But I think he deserves an 8 because he took his goal well and he was a nuisance to that Liverpool team. So, yeah, I think I'd say an 8 is fair, but...
Sure. Nketiah, I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he did well when he played. Shame he had to come off. And then, Nate, you can have our first substitution, which was Jean-Philippe Mateta came on at half-time. Fun fact for everyone, actually, I didn't know this, that apparently, you know how you get 3 windows to make subs? Apparently, it doesn't count at half-time. I didn't know that. So, there you go. Anyway, Nate, what did you think of Mateta's game?
Kind of like what I said when I first joined the show. I mean, I understand why Glasner made that change because obviously Nketiah went off injured, so you want to have that kind of physical presence. But I don't really think he had an awful lot of involvement in any part of the game, really.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like when you're playing Liverpool at their pretty much their weakest, you don't really want Mateta getting involved and getting injured and all that kind of thing. So at a push, I'd say a 7. But like that's really twisting my arm around my back and, you know, forcing me to give him a high rating because he didn't have to get involved. But purely because we won and it was a convincing 3-0 win, I'll say a 7. But I think a 6 will probably be the most accurate. But maybe I'm wrong. Just you know what it is.
I agree with you. I'd probably go a 6 as well. Like he just did what he needed to do, didn't he? Really?
Yeah. 100%.
Justin Devaney, I'm actually going to, because the reason why I also put down to 6, I think Devaney deserves a 7. I thought he was lively when he came on. Obviously, got them sent off got one of the players sent off. And also, he did it off the back of it was a nice pass and also a very clever run. So I'm happy with that. Right. Rio Cardines.
Rio. Rio's a tricky one because... Again, we haven't seen enough of him to see what he's about. But again, like, it's great to see him getting minutes. But again, I have to go similar to Mateta, a 6, because he had nothing to do, really, to be totally truthful. Like, again, you don't want to put players too high up and go like, how on earth are you giving Cardines at 8 when he had no involvement?
Yeah.
I'd have to say a 6.
For sure. To be honest, I think the other 2... I think we can just go like that as well, really, can't we? Because they weren't really on for long enough. / didn't really have a huge amount to do. And with that, who I think I've probably guessed who your man of the match was, but who was your man of the match?
Well, it is easy to say Sarr because let's be fair, he was the difference between us and them. But I probably would give it to Daichi Kamada because I thought he really did quite well in midfield. But because of Sarr's impact in the game, it has to be Ismail Assar. But my personal shout would be Kamada, but I'll say Sarr for the sake of the stream.
Why'd you give him a 7 then?
Because, again, as well as he played, I don't want to overrate him to the point where it's like, how are you giving Kamada a 9? I thought he played quite well personally. But I don't want it to seem like I'm putting him higher than Sarr.
because Sarr had the biggest impact in the game.
Right.
So as I said, if it was me personally, I'd say Kamada. But because of Sarr's impact in that game, it has to be Ismaila Sarr. So I've no issue with it being Sarr. Just for me, I thought Kamada had one of his best games in a Palace shirt yet last night. Granted, albeit against weakened opposition, but still, it does show what he can offer in that midfield because we're still awaiting the return of Sheikh Decore.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, Sarr, I think would be the easy choice. And actually, to be honest, I was expecting you to say Sarr, so I've kind of set myself up here to look like a bit of a div. But I'm actually I'm actually going to go Jeremy Pino. I thought he was excellent. I thought his weight of pass, his movement helped enable the goal. And so many times, like when he dropped deep into like this kind of area there, he then just pinged the ball like round the side. I can't remember which. It was either a chance or a goal, and like he pinged it in, and then they're away. I think it was a chance just after we'd scored the second goal, maybe the first goal. And and it was when like Nketiah and Sarr were away, and he was the one who pinged it into them. And I thought Pino's excellent. Also, he's had his slander recently, shall we say? And I think he's answered those. Again, it is weakened opposition, but I think he deserves his flowers there. And with that, we will move on from that game. Thanks, Liverpool. 3 games, 3 wins this year. And in fact, it's the first time that a team has beaten a team 3 times at 3 different venues in 3 different competitions. Thank you very much. In one season, that is. Actually, no, mine will be 1 season. It might be a calendar year. But anyways, before we move on to the talk about the draw, let me just catch up on all these comments. Thank you all so much for them. Really, really appreciate them. I will have a look. So if you do go to see the trophy, the emails are free and a printed picture is a tenner. Big up, Rich. I hope you are enjoying the cinema. 3-0. Big up, Durfez. 3-0 win was wonderful. Quarterfinal draw was challenging, but was doable. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. 56 is 1 game a week, more than that. 52 weeks, so technically slightly more than that. Pat, don't think JD's currently good enough for first choice status at the moment. Yeah, to be fair, I agree. I think Richards is still very much ahead of him. But you know what? If he keeps playing the way he does, like yesterday, I don't think it'll be too long before he is knocking on that door somewhere in that defence. I would say probably on the right because that's where he played in France. But yeah. Klein's our Sosa and Cardin's backup, not great. Probably last year, but versatile backup. Yeah, I think in a real pinch, he's probably okay. Like if we were playing say like a League 2 or League 1 team, maybe in a Championship team, he's probably okay. To be fair, he'd probably been all right yesterday actually, given the team that Liverpool put out. Big up, Mary. Kamada is consistently underranked. I thought his performance was majestic. Mary, would you give him man of the match? Do you agree with Nate? Agree, Canvo doesn't look first team at the moment. Yeah, totally agree, but consider a mark. Yeah, and you know what? That's what we need to do. We need to be thinking about the players who are going to leave in, say, a couple of years' time. So, for example, Adam Wharton. To take Adam Wharton, for example, he's probably going to move on to probably one of the best teams in the world, let's be brutally honest. So we need to be thinking about who's going to be the guy that is going to be the one replacing him. Like, is it going to be Sheikh Decore? Are we planning for that, or are we going to get someone else in? We need to be thinking about those things ahead. And with someone like Canvo, that is brilliant planning. And when Mark goes, you then got a back 3 where you can have Riyad on the right, provided he comes back well. Riyad on the left, Canvo on the right, Decore in the middle, and then Richards could theoretically cover both left and right. So, or we have Richards on the left and Canvo on the right, whatever. But that's the kind of things that we need to be doing. Chairman saying the squad isn't good enough to rotate much. I do agree. I think some of the players are work in progresses, like SA is a work in progress, Uche is a work in progress. Pino, to some extent, is a work in progress as well. So, yeah. I do agree. It is difficult to rotate when you don't really have the players for it. Glasner needs to know players can carry out his wishes like Devaney. Absolutely. I think his off the ball play is very much why he's loved there. Devaney's fine when we're 2-0 up. Yep, I totally agree. I think he gives us a good press. He's good in the press. And yeah. The red was justified. Will Hughes scored defending. Yeah, I think if you're teaching refs what a red card is, goal scoring opportunity, I think you'd probably show them that. Big up, Peter. I thought we sat back in the first 30 minutes, then used the press more and got more possession of the pitch, and they didn't respond. Then men against boys. Yeah, I totally agree. And I think as well, the goal, it didn't really come out of nothing, but it was bad defending, and I think they could have avoided it. And I think when that happened, then obviously that meant that they had to push out a bit more. They couldn't commit so many players. They had to commit more players forward to win, and then we were just able to hit them with that space. And we grew into the game as well. And I think as well, there's an element of confidence for us. Obviously, we've lost a few games as well, albeit against difficult teams. But yeah. Big up Ollie the Bear. Sarr taking his club out for another walk. Absolutely. 5-5 for Sarr against Liverpool, believe for Palace. Nketiah might go to AFCON with Ghana.
He won't.
He won't.
No. There was talk of him swapping over, but I think Otto Addo, and Rich would know this better than us, but I think Otto Addo said if you didn't want to play for us before we got to the tournament, there's no point trying to join now.
Yeah. No, to be honest, I agree with that, to be honest.
Liverpool fan in the chat. What does Sarr have in time for F's sake? Do you know what it is? We'll keep it a buck with you. Who's that? Sorry, can you just pull that up? Bull McPrebin. I don't think it's personal. It's just he's one of those players that he has his favourite teams to play against, and Liverpool and Villa are those teams, I think.
Yeah.
But
well, you say that.
As we said when I first joined the show, this is how we felt when Sadio Mane played against us. It hurts when a Senegalese player torments you at every opportunity, doesn't it? It hurts, doesn't it? So now you know how we felt. Because every time Sadio Mane could not be in any better form, the minute he played Palace, the minute he played us, he was unplayable. But Sarr, he just loves playing Liverpool. It is what it is, mate.
Yeah, and you know what? He's actually got a goal or assist against 75% of the current Premier League teams. And one of the teams he hasn't is Palace. And the other two are the promoted teams. So I think people obviously they obviously focus on their own teams and they notice the players that play well against them. Well, actually, they play well against more than one team. I'm not too sure when you say he wanted to go. I'm not sure who's he. Why doesn't Glasner sign a new contract? Apparently, they've only just started doing it, so I'm not really too sure there. Glasner will look at the options in the summer. Is the vibe I get? Yep, totally. Okay, fair play, Nate. Kamada was given man of the match by Palace's poll as well. Nketiah was given second. Okay, I'm surprised about Nketiah there. Thank you again for all the comments, guys. Massively appreciate them. Appreciate all of them. There's so many, so I will just skip through some. We can talk about the draw. Big up, Tim. Hope you're all good. Big up, Earth. Sarr gets a 10 for him. I'm guessing he'd be your man of the match, right? Mm-hmm. Verts lead. Big up yourself. Do we think Uche needs more game time? I think there was maybe an issue of, I don't know, maybe some ill discipline, and I think that's why Glasner maybe got the up with him a little bit. But I think more games, he's only a young guy, and he was playing Tier 5 Spanish football, I think 3 years ago it was. So got to give him time for sure. He looked pretty hungry yesterday to prove himself. So hopefully he can take that forwards. Yeah. And thinks Rio Cardin's one of the best young players of the Palace. Well, certainly Glasner thinks so because he's given him time. And yeah.
And the crazy thing is that Glasner is not a youth manager. So that actually does say quite a lot, because we've had the whole managers that want to bring through a youth like Vieira and Roy Hodgson did it reluctantly with Brandon Pierrick. But no, Glasner sees a lot in Rio Cardines where you're like, maybe Rio has something there that we're not aware of. Because again, I've given up on a lot of the. I'm like, we still need to wait for that Category 1 players to make it to the higher end of like the 18s and the 21s. When they're in that bracket, that's when we're really going to see what the step up is from having a lot, because a lot of what we've seen have been Cat 2 players that have made their senior debuts. Like Klein was a Cat 2 player, Wilf, Johnny Williams, Saleh Kai, Raksaki, they're all Cat 2 players. None of them came through when we had Cat 1 status. So, you know, we need to be a bit more patient with the Cat 1 thing. But virtually, you're dead right. Cardines is definitely one of the best young players at the moment. So hopefully we see more of him going forward.
And Verts is also saying every player trains us knows the systems for no excuses. I think that's a very fair point there. Very, very fair point. I'm guessing you're a Liverpool fan. Do you think Slot should go or what? I've seen some varied comments. And Tim is looking forward to seeing Riyad coming back. Yeah, absolutely. For me, I think he's really going to be a breath of fresh air. And I said in the summer, ideally, I probably would have wanted another centre back, but I would have been more than happy if that was just a loan, just to cover until January, just to see Riyad coming back in. I think that's going to be a really important thing for us to get right, his fitness. Right, Nate. To round us off for the last 5-10 minutes or something.
Mm-hmm.
So we have our. Hang on, let me get the overlay. No, not that. The quarterfinal draw.
Yep.
What did you think of that, Nate? Or specifically R1?
Jamie Redknapp, you must answer for your crimes. Because that was so unfair. Joby McAnuff, you of all people I'm disappointed in, because it's like, Joby, would you not have looked out for your old club? No? Nah? All right. No, look, keeping it 100. If you're in the quarterfinal stage of any competition, you shouldn't be saying to yourself, we want the quote-unquote easy tie. Because people will say, but you didn't play anyone to get to the final. Bear in mind, we got that the whole way through until we played Villa in the semis. Oh, but you didn't play anyone. Yes, we did. We played a team in League One, in League Two, the Championship, and 3 Premier League teams, all of which we beat on the road to Wembley. You know. And yes, people will say you played Doncaster and Stockport. We still had to beat them. It's not a case of we just turned up and beat them. We had to beat them fair and square, which we did. Then we played Millwall in the Cup, and we all know how that went. Played them again this season, and that went well as well. But my point is, I wasn't surprised we got Arsenal, but I'm just saying, really? We've already done this. Like, I'd rather Chelsea, I'd rather City, I'd rather Newcastle, I'd rather Cardiff. Although I've bad memories of Cardiff in the League Cup. If you know, you know. But look, to be honest, we're in that. We got through. We're playing Arsenal, but the fixture congestion in December is absolutely crazy. I think we've got 4 games in 4 days. Yeah,
we'll come on to that in a minute.
That is absolutely bonkers. But
actually,
you
know what? Let's talk about that now, Nate. Yeah, since we've segued onto that quite nicely, let's talk about that. So so this is the potential. This is potentially what could happen. And Nicky, I'm sorry, it turns out you might be right. They actually might be insane enough to do. I mean, look at that. That's just ridiculous, isn't it? 14th of December, 16th of December, 18th of December.
Well, no, hold on. Start from the 3rd. So that's Wednesday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, Saturday.
It's a very, very busy December.
And bear in mind, Ismail Assar will not be available for the Leeds game because he's going to AFCON. I think AFCON starts around Christmas time.
He won't be available. I think I don't know if they've drawn the fixtures. Have they drawn the fixtures? Do you know?
I'm not too sure, but I did see that a lot of those players will not be available post. So you're looking at maybe, I'd say the last game Sarr will play could be the Arsenal game, because I think Glasner will want to be mindful not risking him in the game against Cups, unless, of course, we need to play him against Cups. But you'd like to think we should beat With all due respect to these kind of teams, the so-called minnow teams in the group. But to be fair, we thought we'd smash Larnaca, and that didn't go exactly to plan. So you never know. But
yeah.
That fixture pile-up is crazy. But this is the price of European football, whether we like it or not. But I did see on Twitter this morning, some people were like, just do what Liverpool did and play the 21s against Arsenal. And I'm not against it. I don't really care for the League Cup, so I wouldn't crash out mad and be like, it's the smart thing to do because it gives us a fresher squad for the Conference League.
Yeah.
You know, and people may say, oh, but you throw the tournament into disrepute, this, that, the other. Look, take the fine. Take the fine on the nose and just keep it going because honestly, if you'd offered us the Carabao Cup or the Conference League, I know which one I want. And it ain't the Carabao Cup. It's a great tournament. Don't get me wrong. We've never won it, but it ain't Europe. It's not European football.
No,
it gets you into Europe, but it's not. It's not. So Durfa says the Senegal start on the 23rd of December. So Sarr will be gone. He will be gone before that.
Yeah. So, I'd imagine. I don't think he'll be available for. Let's go. Let's put it back up. The Cups game, the Cups, wherever it is, Cups.
I think his last game
he'll be gone.
Arguably Shelburne away. Arguably, because I can't see him being played for City. He won't be playing in the Arsenal game.
You think?
Wouldn't make sense because flying because they have to fly to Morocco. They have to fly to Morocco for the tournament.
I mean, it's not mega far to be fair. I mean, I mean, there have been rumors. Well, I say rumors, as in this is probably just people suggesting on Twitter without actually knowing anything. But there have been rumors that maybe the Leeds game might get moved or the City game because I guess the line of thinking is that the Premier League rearranges games all the time for various cup competitions. The only retort I would say to that is normally they're known in advance, whereas this one hasn't. I mean, to be honest, that is an oversight of all the planning, really. But then there's also the element, because I was trying to Google if there was a minimum rest period between games, because I mean, the Wednesday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, that's bad enough. But the fact you go Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, playing 4 games in a week, like surely there's not, because I couldn't find it, but I'm surprised there's not like a minimum rest period. Now, the only thing I did find was apparently the Footballers Union said that there should be a minimum of 72 hours, and the consensus within the union was that, and FIFA agreed with them. So whether that holds any, and that was this summer, so that was a few months ago. So whether that has any sway on anything, I don't know. But those are the potential suggestions, and we do, I think I'm hoping that. See, it's such a shame that we lost to Larnaca, and it's so annoying because I don't think we deserve to lose that game personally. And I think because I looked at it, and if say we beat RZ, I'll stand on the hill that I think Larnaca are better than RZ. So I think RZ, I think a draw away at Strasbourg would be very decent, and then a win at Shelbourne. That would put us up to 10 points. So that leads us only really need. If you look at the points needed last season, it was 11 points with a decent goal difference. So let's say, for argument's sake, 12. So I mean, even if you do that, and those are a good set of results, you're still probably going to need a win against Cups. Obviously, if we manage to beat Strasbourg, that'd be brilliant. Obviously, if we win the rest of our games before Cups, then that's a different story. How likely that is, I don't know, because obviously then none of them are pushovers. But that's kind of where we're at with that, and it's like where do you? And this is what I was saying in the summer is that like our squad is so, regardless of whether you think it's whoever's fault you think it is, it doesn't matter. If you look at our squad, it doesn't have the depth enough for a European season. I said that in the summer, say that now, and I know I'll say that at the end of the season. Like I said, whose fault that is irrelevant. But yeah, the only other thing I do want to touch on actually, before we kind of round out with some final comments, is let's look at this again. Nate, what do you notice about about certain teams there?
It's remarkably fortuitous that Arsenal, Manchester City, and the reigning holders Newcastle all have home ties, because
Yeah. Well,
that's massively harsh on Brentford and Fulham having to travel all that way up north for a cup tie, where you'd argue it would have been much more logical to probably pit them against each other, because that's a local London derby, and then have Newcastle and City play each other. Granted, it doesn't work like that. It's literally luck of the draw and everything, but realistically, you look at that quarterfinal draw and you say every tie you'd have to back the expected favourite. You don't really want to back us against Arsenal because for some reason they have a hoodoo on us. Brentford have it in them to cause an upset, but again, it's Manchester City. They're experts at winning cups, particularly this one. Newcastle, as reigning holders, will want to go as far as they can and maybe even retain. And Chelsea are in bad need of a trophy. So, you'd have to really say that Cardiff would do well to get Chelsea out of the way. We'd need an absolute miracle of Arsenal squad falling apart to ribbons to get past them, unless we play the 21s, in which case I couldn't care less. But yeah, that's a very interesting draw. I'll give it that. That's probably the most I can say without waffling on a bit.
And also the fact that they all managed to avoid each other as well. I mean, what are the odds of that? What are the odds of... I'm not going to include Newcastle in it, but like the odds of those three teams not playing each other, I do wonder what the odds are. Maybe someone who's really good at maths can tell me in the comments.
Well, Dan, I'll be honest, the whole Arsenal-Chelsea thing, I think even the police would be like, yeah, please not Arsenal-Chelsea. Any other fixture, just not that one, because you know that there's going to be trouble at that one.
Really? Prawn Sandwich Brigade versus Prawn Sandwich Brigade? I'm not sure about that. Football's not like it was.
No, there would be. There's always a few idiots that try and ruin it and try and think that they're something from Green Street and what's the other one? The Football Factory. There's always going to be that small minority that make them all look bad, and it all goes viral on social media. But yeah, look, it is what it is, isn't it? Just we're in the hat now. Nothing we can do.
Yeah, and I suppose as well, I guess the famous West London derby of Brentford versus Fulham. That's a very tasty one that they wanted to avoid, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
Oh yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm about to say. I think the Grandad derby of Brentford versus Fulham would be very naughty. There'd be a lot of problems at that game. So,
but yeah, I'm sure.
They definitely want to avoid that one for sure.
But I'm sure in that regard, I'm sure Cardiff versus Chelsea would definitely have no trouble whatsoever.
No, they're both Angel fan bases. They've never had a bad history, either of them. Never.
Yeah. Right, let's round out with some comments, and then we'll round out.
Yeah, because I've got to go. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit pressed for time here. So.
If you want to go, Nate, you can. I'll just finish some comments, and then I was just going to log off. So if you need to go, then by all means.
No. I can stay for a little bit, just because I do have to do something after this. So we'll just get the comments out of the way.
I mean, the academy's come in. It was only built in 2021. We've only been in the top division, the PL2, since then. So that's 4 or 5 seasons. So to see the actual benefits, when kids join when they're 6, 7 years old, it's going to take a while.
Yeah. I know, but that's what I'm saying is that.
I agree. Yeah, we agree. Yeah.
As Tim says, he's mentioned a player there, but as I said, that's the joy of it, is that we know that these players are on the way. Just we have to be a bit more patient, because we've never been let down with our Cat 2 players. To be fair, we've had quite a good few come through that were Cat 2, and some we've inherited from Chelsea. We got Ragsaki from Chelsea, who would have been Cat 1, but I think some people are so heavily focused on us reclaiming our, South London academy roots. We're not that team anymore. Haven't been since we got into the Prem. The last academy players I remember, apart from Pierrick, were Levi Lumeka and Saleh Kaikai. And that shows you how long ago that was. Well, David Ozo, really, but you know what I mean. We haven't really had a consistent conveyor belt of youth players coming through. Of course, just in case.
Yeah, no, for sure. Virtue is a Palace fan. If we become more clinical, we can beat Arsenal. Yeah, I agree. I think our finishes let us down this season. If we can prove that, we'll be in a much better place. Tim's been saying all season he doesn't think we will lose to Arsenal again. We shall see, Tim. We shall see. I hope you're all right. Bad memories of Bristol City away. Yep, I remember that too. If that's 4-1, I remember that. Maybe we'll play lots of the kids. Nate, you going to the Shelbourne match? Pat's asking.
Hopefully. I'm kind of waiting for the club to go official because I don't want to be in the Shelbourne end because a lot of our lot from over here have got tickets in the Shelbourne end, but I wanted to be in the Palace end.
Yeah, fair enough. Talking about Ben Casey in the under 18s. Yeah, I always find it interesting the jump from 18s to 21s, and because they always seem to do well in the 18s, but not necessarily so well in 21. So it's always, it's always an interesting one to see. Yeah, I think because it'd be what? I guess it'd be, I don't know. I'd have to write it down, but yeah. I don't know what the odds are. Lakilo was another one who came through. I think he ended up like without a club. I think like he went some ran like League 2 Belgian club or something. But yeah. Anyways, let's round off. Nate, is there anything else you want to say?
No, not really. Not
Cool.
really. Just
all right.
Decent win, fairly meh draw, and bring on Brentford on the weekend.
Lovely stuff. Right. All we can say then is up the Palace.
Up the Palace. Eagles.